Welcome, team, to episode 25 of the Keep Going podcast. This is your co-host, Luke Wheat, in Knoxville, Tennessee, with Patrick O'Malley in Ohio right now, I believe. What's up, Pat?
It's like Carmen Sandiego, man. You never know where you're going to catch me, bro. How we doing?
No, I'm doing good, buddy. So 25 episodes in, I think we're rolling right along, and I think you've been in like 6 different states over the past 25 episodes. So maybe we'll hit all 50 one day.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, man. Every day is an absolute blessing. And every time I get the chance to travel and see good people and be able to still shoot the pod, it's a blessing. That's for sure. Luke, what's going on out there in Knoxville?
Just kind of hanging out with the boys this weekend. So we lost our state quarterfinal game on Friday night. So soccer's done for the year. And saw a couple of the boys yesterday and golfed a little bit, which was the first time I golfed in a long time. And that's kind of one of my tranquil spaces. Like, I like to go golf and kind of be out in nature. I can't remember who the quote is by, but oh man, this is going to kill me. But he said, golf is a good walk ruined. And I completely disagree with it. Right. Every time somebody says it, I said, no, that's the best walk ever. Right. You're doing a little physical activity. You're getting your vitamin D from the sun. It's amazing.
No, it comes back to, once again, I always question people that are always golfing alone. I think it's definitely a cool thing to do with your friends and your people, but maybe good golfers can golf alone. I'm just not one of them.
Hey, we're not professionals out here. Just like we're not psychiatrists and psychologists, we are not PGA professionals. Just take the good with the bad. That's how it goes.
I couldn't agree more. And just a reminder about the merch, to go with the specialist claim. We do have those t-shirts still going. Luke has done a fantastic job, but we're also not a logistics company by any means. If you're still waiting on shirts, my boy Luke is pushing them out. And I know we have a raffle coming up for a free one. So if you haven't bought one yet, do it. But you might have a free one coming for a friend or significant others. So, Luke, without further ado, man, I definitely want to jump into it, but got to shout out our socials as well at the KG Podcast and Luke's awesome blogs. If you haven't checked those out, make sure we do that as well.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. They're fun to write. They're fun to revisit some conversations that were impactful for us personally and for the community at large, and just give people a little extra light, right? Just shine that light a little bit extra for them and just make sure people are aware of the resources that are out there and the people that are out there going through some struggles, but are finding strength in numbers and really pushing through some things.
So we say it every week, man. It's all about the community. And on that same train of thought, we do got one of the sweetest dudes coming on today, Bryce Skelton. But before we go into that, man, what did you do this week for your mental health, Luke?
Yeah, so I tried to, and this one's a little weird. I tried to section off my days a lot better and be more organized about transitioning from one project to another. So I stopped taking medication for ADHD probably in, I don't know, maybe last September or something like that. Just to try some more natural remedies and stuff like that. Didn't love the side effects of the medicine. So, kind of cut that out. But I can definitely feel myself jumping from one thing to the next, all in different, all at the same time, trying to do too many things at once. And so teaching, that's not necessarily conducive for student learning. So I tried to hit some meditation and some breathing exercises in between each activity to just kind of recenter myself. So if I'm going from teaching to coaching, I'm going to take that 2 minutes of just silence and breathing techniques to get ready and either think about coaching specifically or think about something else to get my mind off of teaching to move into that different perspective, if that makes sense.
No, for sure, man. A little box breathing, a little just getting back to center, getting back to where you want to be, I think goes a long way. And that's a reminder for not only student athletes, but, everybody, that you can take some time, take your breaks, get back to where you need to be, because at the end of the day, we didn't get put on this earth just to work, eat right and go to the gym, right? Like, there's things that come up throughout the day, ups, downs, in between. So taking that time is super important. I think this is going to be a KG podcast record. The 3rd week in a row, I'm saying get with your people. I know First week of the month, I went to Wrigley with my coworkers. 2nd week, I went to a bachelor party in Vegas. And now 3rd week, I'm out here with my girlfriend and her family. And we just had a great time, traveling the country, picking her up from school. So last 3 weeks, I'm going to keep it consistent, get with your people, and not only that, but bring someone to the table and make the most of it. I think that's key.
100%. And we kind of see that as places are getting bigger, population's growing. You can see that communities are expanding, and it's harder to find those groups, right? So we're made to be in small communities, I think, as human beings. So finding your people, being in a comfortable place, but also making sure you're challenging yourself to be better every day. That's going to get you right.
No, I agree. I think if you don't have that group of people, don't get discouraged either.
Yeah.
I think we talk about a lot of times, it's compare, contrast, see where you feel good, like what rooms that you feel welcomed in, celebrated in, roll with that. And if you don't know where to start, reach out to us. We'll either put you in a situation we can help you or point you in the right direction, because we're all better with people, our significant others, our friends, families, coaches, professors. There's somebody that's going through something like you and that can help. That's for sure. But
Yeah,
without
100%.
further ado, Bryce Skelton is in the building. What's up, Bryce?
I think this is where I put on my video. What's going on, guys?
What's up, Bryce?
You're a
What's
natural.
good?
You're a natural.
Perfect. Well, Bryce, I always say this, man. One, we'd be nothing without our guests. And two, anyone that gets referred by Adam O'Malley, Brandon Gossett, the list goes on and on. We had to have the boy on the pod. So, Bryce, tell the guys and girl listeners why you're on the pod today.
Couple of reasons. One, I'm a big advocate for mental health. I think it's under talked. It's something that I think could be talked about more, but kind of in all walks of life. I think there's a lot of positives that are coming out of podcasts like this as of recent, where kind of like you guys are saying, you're not alone. You're a part of a community, whether it's a community of people that struggle with the same things, have a family member struggling with it, friend, relative, kind of you name it.
No doubt. And we talk about it every episode. It's all about your people. And our goal of this whole thing was to impact one person, and we hope to keep doing that. Luke, I know it's your first time meeting Bryce. First opinion, how are we looking on that?
Oh yeah, he got the headset on. He's ready to go. Business-like mentality on here. So I'm excited to hear his story today and hear a little bit about what he thinks.
No doubt. Well, Bryce, you mentioned you're a mental health advocate. Unpack that. I know that you're obviously a former player, former coach. You're actually one of my mom's insurance agents now. So you do so much to help people. We'll get into that too. But tell me about how you became a mental health advocate and why it means so much to you.
Yeah. Starting out, obviously everyone has their situations growing up, struggles, all that. But it kind of really started when got off to college, and my dad was going through the battle of his addictions and his mental health, and kind of saw it from an early age that you kind of got to take care of yourself, especially being an athlete. You feel like you're alone in it. Truthfully, feeling like a coach, I feel like you even feel like you're more alone in it. And that's actually one of the big reasons I wanted to come on here. Is I think what you guys are doing, what everyone's doing, talking about athletes, is amazing. But I think coaches are still starting to come out about it. That's something that I think that's a stigma with coaches that still looking to be broken. That's, at least when I was coaching, that's kind of how I felt, and seeing coaches around me going through those struggles, but then also kind of having to put on a mask, or when you're a servant, right? You're a servant leader, you're trying to worry about everyone else and take care of everyone else. And at the end of the day, who's there taking care of you?
Well, that's that's a big responsibility, right? So the pressure that comes with, and I think on our team we got 20 or 22 kids or whatever we got on our high school soccer team, right? I feel personally responsible for how they feel whenever they're out on the soccer field. So if I see one of them hurting or see one of them discouraged or in a negative mood, I feel like I can't get them out of that, I feel personally responsible for it, and it weighs heavy on you for sure.
Yeah, let's stay there. Obviously, in the coaching side of things, being a former high-level player, being a former pro player, you get thrusted in your 20s into the coaching role, and all of a sudden, you're responsible for kids your age, around your age bracket. When you talk about how should I put it? What's going on with the stigma around coaches and how they're dealing with this, How did you get through it? Because you had a really good coaching career, Bryce. I have to tell you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The biggest one, man, I feel like as a coach, we're kind of a glutton for punishment. You kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, you go through the routine and I guess you find a new way to figure out why you lost or how we get things better. And I mean, that's a constant stress thing. And truly, I wasn't great with it when I was a coach. I mean, I think coaches now suffer in silence. That was one of the things that was kind of a constant theme of kind of what I felt or what I saw. It was one where you're there for the players. And I guess that's kind of how I got out of it, or how I got through my day, was when you're focusing on all your players and how they're feeling and their past they're trying to work through as young adults and boys becoming men. It kind of was easy because I could help them or relate to them and their struggles, but then I'd come home and be exhausted because I'm not going through my own. I wasn't unpacking my stuff. I enjoyed, so why ultimately I kind of had to get out. When you're a servant, it's hard to look at yourself when you're too worried about everyone else. And I think that
Yeah.
that the idea of you can't fill up someone else's cup if yours isn't full. I just got to a point where my cup was full, man, or my cup was empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I felt that a lot this year personally as well, Bryce. And I like the fact that you knew you had to make a change to feel better for yourself. That's awesome. But I feel that going from teaching to coaching, working 6 to 6 basically. So it's not easy, right? And you got to do what you can to advocate even for yourself. Pat, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I think the big thing I'm taking away is, you're not the first guest to say stuff like this, right? That
Mhm.
you felt like you're on this earth to serve. You're on this earth to be a servant leader. But at the end of the day, you can't do that if you're not okay, right? So, Bryce, I look at you now, man, in a brand new career away from baseball. How did you get to the point you're at now?
Honestly, it was a lot of just uh, self thought and looking at myself and saying what am I good at, but two, what do I enjoy doing? And honestly love being around players. I love the competitiveness of sports, was in it forever. Honestly, transitioning into a sales role in insurance, it's super competitive. I love, again, we talk about glutton for punishment. I love being told no. I get broken up with every day. But it's one where I just enjoy the ability to kind of compete against myself, but also sit down and help people. That's ultimately probably my favorite thing about my new career. I mean, take away the home and auto side, but like sitting down and talking about life options and
Yeah.
how to set people up for life and how to set families if things do happen, because unfortunately I see it every day, things do. And again, we talk about mental health. Lost 2 uncles in a month last year, and one of them didn't have life insurance and saw that, how that kind of resulted in, and then another uncle that didn't as well. So it's one where you find your why pretty easily. I think those challenges and the challenges and um, the whys are always there, right? Like the challenges never change; they just adapt. So
Yeah.
whether it's grieving a loss or grieving end of a year that you didn't like, or whatever it is, now you look now and it's trying to figure out how I can help a family that maybe I didn't get to have the opportunity to sit down with before, and how do I not let that happen again.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just like in life, right? Just like I do in teaching and coaching, just like Pat does with NCSA, and making sure his kids aren't just going after one school for college recruiting, right? You got to have safety nets. And so being able to provide that for a family is an amazing thing.
Yeah, I agree. And it brings me back to a quote I've said on episodes before. Being a man of faith myself, God didn't say there wouldn't be storms, but he said he would give us the armor to be protected. He would give us the ability to swim, the ability to surf, all that good stuff. And no matter what you believe in, a higher power, or if it's more of the universe, whatever you believe in, we're going to get through it. We've gotten through 100% of our worst days. So I kind of want to stay on that a little bit, Bryce. So now transitioning away from being a player, transitioning away from being a coach, give our listeners your daily routine. What are you doing to combat this, to go with your job where you're impacting so many people?
Yeah, honestly, it's a work in progress, for sure. But we talked about Jay Glazer before we started this, but he said something that kind of resonated with me. And going through right now a troubling time. My mom's been in and out of the hospital. So really working through, I guess, not being okay is okay. And the idea that Jay talks about is waking up in the gray and battling the gray. And for me right now, that's 100% the honest truth. And I've pretty much leaned into my faith. Kind of funny. I just try and push on my faith and say, you know what, this isn't in my control, and helps me a little bit not be, I guess, so hungry for that control of something I can't control. I think that goes with coaching as well. I think coaches love that control aspect, and unfortunately, life, you don't get that control. So passing on, I guess, the burden to somebody else or something else, or away from me, kind of has helped me breathe and deal with the gray, and allow myself to come home happy. Right. I have a loving wife that, God, without her, I don't know what this would look like. Being able to pick up my worst days, or if I'm struggling, being able to uplift me, or having a house. So like if I'm struggling doing the dishes, or even coming home and just being exhausted, she's been able there to pick up the pieces and kind of help me work through not being okay. And like I said, it's a work in progress every day. Talking has really helped with me talking to people. Hired a coach that I can kind of bounce ideas off of, and kind of what I'm feeling with, and things like that. Honestly, it's every day I wake up is a blessing. So I kind of start with that.
That's amazing. I love the fact that you hired a coach, man. Getting that help that's top notch. That's top notch. So that's something we've talked about before on, I can't remember which episode it was, but it was one of the questions that Pat asked me, right? Like, what are some actionable steps? And that's one of them, because I think when you're dealing with some struggles and you recognize them, right? First, you got to recognize them. And then we've got to figure out some actual solutions to make it better. So that actionable step of getting a coach is awesome. I love that aspect.
Luke, I'm with you. And there's so many good nuggets. And that's why I had that question written down, because Bryce, you might feel like some days the world is falling, man. But ever since you've jumped on here, I felt that energy. I felt that you're here for a reason, man, to impact other people. And when you talk about having a life coach, when you talk about having a significant other that I can completely relate, that can lift you up without even her knowing it on some of your worst days, and how you can take your pain and make it a good day against all odds. I think that's so powerful, man. So thank you for sharing. And I know our listeners often, it gets to that point where they're in the gray. I talk about the gray and the blue all the time, listening to Jay's podcast, but being able to get to the blue, man, and stay in the blue more consistently, there's a way out of this. That's for sure. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Well, I think even those little struggles, they just parallel
life's
bigger
Luke,
struggles, right?
Yep.
Go ahead,
Luke.
Pat.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying,
Luke.
I was just saying that, being in the gray and waking up every day and conquering those little tasks, right? That starts building that momentum. I'm pretty sure I've said it on here before, but it's like, even waking up and getting out of bed, that's been some of our guests' keep going moment, right? And somebody else's keep going moment was Richard Jurgen, who broke his back and had to do rehab for 2 years before he could play football again. Didn't know if he's going to play football again. Both of those moments are equally valuable, right? Like, being able to see the little victories and take that momentum into bigger victories is crucial, man.
No doubt. And that segues pretty perfectly, Bryce. I want to be conscious of your time. I appreciate you jumping on, especially on a family Sunday. So I appreciate you. But tell me this, we talk about the quote every week. We talk about Inky Johnson and how we often see people where they're currently at, but we don't look back in the past and see where they started and what they went through, good, bad, and different, to get to this moment. Tell me your keep going moment and why that means so much to you. What has gotten you to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple, I guess, that, like I said, challenges always evolve. They're there. They just, I guess, look different. High school, mom had a stroke, and being able to find a way to pick the pieces up and put myself back together and come back better. Then going into college, you have dad working on his addiction and his battle with alcohol. And I mean, truthfully, if he can do that at, was it 50 years old, 45 years old, my struggles that I have look a little bit smaller, right? Then transition into getting into coaching, and for me, sleeping on a couch at play ball 4 days a week and trying to work myself up the coaching ranks, and I guess the stuff that comes with that, and getting into transitioning then into being a full-time college coach. I guess getting to that goal and then still kind of being unhappy or feeling like I can't catch a breath or stuff like that, then transition out of it and figuring yourself out of athletics and who you are there. I mean, each moment has been a challenge, but honestly, I'm blessed for each one of them. I think each one has helped me hit the next one better, stronger, but also there's a lot more going on here than just me, right? I have a beautiful wife. We have a family that I adore, and just doing it for them. I mean, my keep going moment, honestly, has been a bunch, but right now it's transitioned into giving her the best life and building this thing that we want to build, and having my own agency. There's a lot of things that the stress is still there, but you find reasons to wake up every day, whether you want to or not. It's one of those where there's bigger things moving here, and I want to just make sure that I'm able to provide, but also be happy. And I think we're always going for that.
This doesn't happen often on the pod. I don't have much to say. I think that's incredible perspective, one. And two, the strength here in your voice, man, is I don't have anything much to say. Luke.
No, yeah, the conviction, right, with what you speak about your struggles and about overcoming those, Bryce, is powerful. And knowing the people you have supporting you, I mean, I could just tell they're amazing people, right? And the way you speak highly about them, and how you have that strong support group. And we want to say we're proud of you for getting through those and fighting them every day and making sure that you're staying on the right track, trying to get to that blue. So big ups to you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I mean,
no, Bryce, yeah, I feel the
being
same.
able to
Go ahead.
voice this. No, I love being able to voice this.
No, man, I'm absolutely blown away. Out here in Ohio. I couldn't even tell you what part of Ohio I'm in. I really have nothing left to say except for, to our listeners, please take the next, I don't know how many listens you need, and run back that last minute. And the one thing that stood out to me is waking up even when you're not even sure, even if you're not 100% sold on why you're here this day, there's always a reason to keep fighting. And we talked about last week with Stay Another Day, being our charity sponsor. I think that really hit home with me. So Bryce, before I let you go, I got to know, for our listeners, how can our listeners get in touch with you? Promote anything you got cracking to.
Honestly, Facebook, Instagram. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only Bryce Skeltons out there, but I want to say Instagram, I think, is simply Skelton. Facebook, just look up my name. Honestly, it's one where if you want, add me. If you want to send me a message and talk about it, I'm 100% open book. Like you guys kind of said, for the reason starting this, if I can help one person, good. And honestly, if there's someone out there that can help me, good. I mean, that's one of those where I'm always open for conversation, and I made a promise to myself. I sound strong now. Yesterday wasn't the case, but I made a promise to myself that I'd talk more, and that's one thing I'm going to hold myself accountable for, is speaking up and letting my loved ones know, hey, I'm struggling, or letting friends know, hey, I'm struggling. And I think since I've done that for the last, I mean, it's been days, but has helped a lot. And it's one of those where even coming on here relieves some just anxiety and pressure and all that stuff. So very blessed to be on here, and I appreciate you guys giving me a time and a platform.
Yeah,
Hey,
100%. Bryce,
we're
thanks so
blessed.
much. It's been awesome to meet you, man. And I'm glad we built this relationship today, and hopefully that continues on forward, because you're a heck of a guy, dude. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Bryce, I'm gonna talk for you, and I'm gonna let you skate out of here. Shameless plug for Bryce. He actually worked directly with my mom in an insurance deal a couple months ago. And it was actually after my mom told him no originally. And when my mom came back around, Bryce was the first one to jump in and help my single mom of four. So not only is he inspiring a lot of people right now, but he's damn good at what he does, and he cares about the people. At the end of the day, it's about the people, and that's why we're here. So Bryce, I love you, brother. I'm blessed to know you, and you're welcome on this platform anytime. Thanks for being you.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you for having me. Obviously, Pat, we've been friends for a while. Love you, brother. And Luke, same goes for you. If you guys ever need anything, person to talk to, a shoulder to cry on, or if you need it near, just let me know.
Yes, sir.
God bless you,
Appreciate you,
bro.
man.
Appreciate you, Bryce. Have a great rest of your Sunday, my guy.
Yeah, you too, guys.
All love,
Later.
buddy.
All love.
Yep. Bye.
Later. Luke, I gotta get first impression of Bryce Skelton right now after 20 minutes.
Dude, I think I love whenever we can talk to people and you hear the conviction of what they're doing. Right? He knows how to combat the situation that he's in. He knows how he knows what he needs to do to get better and to better his mental health. And he does it. Right? So I love the conviction he spoke with just in general. And then the other little nuggets in there about having a strong support group with his wife and his family, but also taking that actionable step of getting a coach to help him out as well. Like, all of that was just beautiful. Run all that stuff back, man.
I couldn't agree more. And knowing Bryce personally, that's who he is, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't an act. It wasn't something where he came on here and was going to be a different person. That's who he is. And what he's gone through defines him as a man. And I guess I'm still like blown away by how great that was. And the fact that he came out here was real. And I didn't expect anything less, but we've had guests in the past that are kind of conservative. That was all real. And I love it.
Yeah. And it's from the jump, man. From the jump, he just jumped right into it. And I love that. If you notice at the end, he said, I'm going to hold myself accountable for it.
Yep.
Right. So he's setting standards for himself. He's not, it's good to do things for other people and be accountable to other people, because that'll keep you on the right track. But you got to be honest with yourself and accountable with yourself to get anything done. And I really like that piece of it.
It's you against you, man. It's you against you, and your people get the benefit of who you are when you are against yourself. So love that, man. Well, hey, if I'm not mistaken, I could be jumping the gun. We got a brand new ad read this week.
That's right, baby. Community Company. They were our shirt co-sponsors right here. So I don't have my shirt on today. I should have, to be able to showcase that. But shout out Community Company. They're not just a merchandising company, right? Matt Roberts is working out in Athens, Tennessee, and their whole mantra is mind, body, spirit. Right? They're trying to build strong, positive connections within their community, and they do so by making videos and selling their merch that kind of spreads that positive message. And I'm going to link their Instagram and their shop down in the description below. They just had a drop about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Whenever we got our shirts with them is whenever they had a new drop. So go support those guys any way you can. They're doing great things in Athens, Tennessee, and hopefully looking to expand that more in the future.
I couldn't agree more. And shout out, man, to all those guys and girls over at Community. Just like incredible impact. not only in their state, but internationally as well and throughout the country. I'd like to shout out CNC and BNC over at Homegrown. I'd like to shout out Power Pipe over at Steve Peterson.
Yeah.
For 25 episodes to have 3 partner sponsors, I'm incredibly grateful, and we're incredibly blessed to have this platform. So it's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I just think every time somebody compliments us on the idea or says they like what we're doing, it just blows me away. Right.
Yeah.
It was just an idea and we just made it happen. So seeing people jump on and be happy with what we're doing makes me really proud, and it makes me really proud of you, Pat.
No, you too, Luke. I appreciate you, brother. I couldn't do this without you. And, I definitely want to keep it moving on this Sunday, but I want to go into our charity shout out of the week. So I'll go ahead and take this one, Luke, if you don't mind.
Hit it.
Awesome, man. So I got to shout out the Happiness Project, the old stick figure with the smiley face. We love to see it. Happiness Project has grown from a simple page about mental health awareness to millions of people getting impacted. So if you haven't checked out Happiness Project, they run mental health awareness charity donations every week with different products on their clothing line, and they make a big time impact. So shout out to everybody at Happiness Project. Luke, let's go over to social media.
Yeah, social media shout out this week is going to be David Raya for Brentford. So he's a goalkeeper. And he talked a lot about his the stress of being a goalkeeper. And I think, sports are a great positive thing, right? You learn so many good things through them. But David Raya was kind of talking about the battles with anxiety and stuff he had having so much pressure as a goalkeeper, right? You see it a lot with positions. I was a goalkeeper. You see it a lot with positions where one mistake can cost you a whole game, and one mistake leads to a score for the other team or for a goal to the other team. And like that kind of pressure is not something that everybody's built for, right? So having tools set up to be able to conquer that anxiety is hugely important. So shout out for David Rye for sharing his struggles.
Couldn't agree more. And they say it about goaltenders all the time, and goalkeepers as well. Talk about a one-on-one grind. There's nobody back there. It's just you. So being able to deal with that and being able to find ways to cope with that, like Bryce touched on, the life coaches, professional help, your friends, family, significant others, you're not alone in this. No matter how empty you may feel, I always feel like it's working for you, not against you. And your people are a big part of that. That's for sure.
That's right, man.
No
That's
doubt.
right.
Well, Luke, before I wrap up today, man, like I said, fantastic content. It's nice to get back in the booth with you, with a guest. Anything else cracking on your end before we wrap up?
Going to Australia next week, so that's big. Got a plan for that a little bit. Honestly, it's been a grind in the school year, so I didn't even realize it was a week away until yesterday. Whenever I was talking with somebody, it's felt like a marathon since January. So excited for that trip and a little bit of downtime.
No, completely, man. Well, hey, I know we won't see you on the episode for the next couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah. So I'll be leaving, and we're going to be getting a really good. You guys are familiar with them. We're going to be getting a really good guest host on here with Pat to be rocking.
No, I can't wait for that. Can't wait to make some more impact. And we preach about mental health and doing things for your mental health. And I think that trip's going to be fantastic, Luke. So I'm going to miss you, of course. I wouldn't be here without you, but it's going to be nice getting you some time away with some people that you care about. That's for sure.
100%, dude.
Awesome, man. Well, Luke, love you, brother. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And above all else, keep going.
Got to keep going, baby. Love you.
Love you too, bro. Peace.